you're watching this video and you're watching it because you watched last week's video where I said I would talk about how to keep organized electronically, please let me know on the comments below. Thank you. Okay, so like I said, we're gonna talk about how to stay organized electronically for this semester because it's about to start and it's about to become a mess if we're not ready. So the first thing to do is I will personally have a hard drive, but you don't need to have a hard drive, you just need to have a folder on your computer. So I will make a folder in my computer on my hard drive that is called the school name, like literally mine would be NIU. So the folder was called NIU. And then under NIU, I broke it down into semesters or years. No, I broke it down into years. So it was 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019 because I went to school forever. And then within each year, I would put each semester. So I will put spring 2017 and then fall 2017, and then I'll go back into the next year and I'll do the same thing. And then underneath those semesters, I will do folders where you could see each class name. So I would typically name them with the class number because that's what we used when we were students. I don't know why. But you can also call them by their names: thermodynamics, fluids, statics, whatever. And then underneath those folders for each class, I would make folders, for example, books. So I will make a folder that said book. And then I will have the PDF version of the book if I was able to find it, if somebody sent it to me or if I purchased it that way. Anyways, however I got it, I will save it there. And if I had answer keys, then I would have it also there as well. So those two files will be there, and sometimes we wouldn't be able to get the whole book, so we would get like chapters. So I would save each chapter as I was able to get it in that folder. Then there was a second folder that was homework. So there you would get all your PDF assignments, if there were PDFs, and you would save them there. And then you also had another one where you either had the solutions that you had to submit online, if that was the case. Not all my classes were like that. Some were like I had to write them and turn them in, but sometimes I would scan them and throw them in there too. And then there will be another folder, and that would just be general notes if I had them, or any other folder that you might need, like an others folder or like a SolidWorks file folder if you're like into a design class, or Creo or Katia or whatever. Katia, I don't know how to pronounce it, I will never know. And my cousin's name is Katia, so I call it like that, Katia. But just make sure you have folders for whatever different thing you have, and that you don't just have one folder and you throw everything in there, because then it's going to be a mess, and then all that organization is going to be worthless if at the end of the day one folder with the class name has everything in it, and each file is called screenshot 1, screenshot 2, screenshot 3. So don't do that. Also rename each file so you know exactly what it is. So I will put homework 1, homework 2, homework 3, or you can even go the next step and put homework 1, chapter, whatever, and then you're even more organized. I didn't do that, but I usually knew that homework 1 through 5 was part of chapter 1 or whatever. So that's gonna help you out a lot when you go back to your exams and you're trying to study, because I would study for my homework specifically. I would go and open all those homeworks, I will go through the first one, and then I will go through the second one, I will go through all the problems, and it's just gonna be way easier to find them. And then it's just gonna be way easier to find them when you need them, without having to open 100 files trying to find out which one's which. Another thing why this is really important is to keep, for example with me, or taxes, I would save every single receipt that I will get from books, from classes, from anything else that I will buy that was school related. I will keep it in that folder. I will download the receipt, save the name with what it was, and then I will go and throw it in a folder. If a lot of my books were from Amazon or Chegg, I will make sure to go back into the receipt, download them. Don't just keep them in your account, because then you're gonna have a hard time going through them at the end. So download them and then put them into their respective folders. So within each year, in each folder that I had it every year, I would make a separate folder that said receipts, you get it, receipts, and I would throw every single receipt in there. So it comes the next year and it's tax season, and my dad would do taxes for us because I wasn't working. Most of the semesters I wasn't working, and I am thankful that I didn't have to, but he could just tell me, I'm gonna go do my taxes, here's all the paperwork that you need, that I went to school and that I spent this much money on school. So that made it way easier at the end of the day. Okay, another thing to start organized and just to know that you're not missing anything from your classes is that even if your class doesn't meet that day, or if your class has like a scheduled time to meet, and with this, since everything is gonna happen from your computer or your phone, keep an electronic to-do list. So I would use Wunderlist, but you can use any to-do list that you want, and that would let me do, again, separate by classes. So I would do 4 or 5 different to-do lists depending how many classes I had, and then each to-do list had its own list of assignments, homeworks, tests, reading, anything that you might be assigned. You have it there, and then you're able to check it off, and it cleans on its own. You can tell it when it's due, and it will remind you, rather than if you write it down, the paper is not gonna come back at you and tell you, hey, this is due tomorrow. So try to do it electronically. It helps a lot. And there's even some that from your emails, they're able to, like, you click it and it does like an event for you automatically. So having a to-do list online or a calendar online, it's really helpful for you not to miss it. This one's new, and I didn't do it because I was in online classes and I also hadn't thought about it before. But keep a document, like a questions document. So if you have your lectures going on, you have either a piece of paper or a document that's on Word or OneNote or whatnot. And have it so that you can write every single question that comes up as you're in class or as you're reading or as you're doing homework. This way you have all these questions, and when you're going through lecture, maybe the professors answer it, or maybe once he asks questions, you have that list to go back to and read from and be like, yes, I have these questions. And it's not just in the back of your head when you might forget when he asks, or you might look away when he says like, what questions, and then you're like, wait, what's happening? No, I don't have my questions, I need to remember what they were. Or maybe let me look through my notes, or let me look through my book, see where I wrote them. You will have them in its own separate paper, and you can even write the answers there as well. And lastly is to make the important things visible. So here I'm talking about if you have a study schedule like I talked about in the last video, then put it somewhere where you're going to see it. Make it your background in your computer, or paste it on the wall. That way you know and you can look it really quickly, see what you should be working on and what's coming next. Other thing is like a calendar where you know when the tests are coming. So you're studying, maybe you're feeling stressed out, and then you look at your calendar, you're like, oh wait, I have 2 more weeks for the exam. So yeah, maybe I'm struggling right now, but you know, I still have those 2 weeks where I can focus completely on this. And then in that study schedule with the calendar, you can figure out if you can push something to the side so that you can focus more on something else, or in another class that it's more important right now. So make them the background of your phone, or the background of your computer, or the background of your wall. Paste them all over the place so that you can see them and you don't miss any single assignment, and you feel like you have everything under control. And with that, I hope you start the semester strong again. School can be so stressful and it can give you anxiety, at least it did for me. And just knowing that I have everything organized and that I know what I'm going into and I have a plan in how to tackle it can just make you, like, you know, be calm a little bit more. Get the hang of things. Make sure that you don't wake up in the middle of the night thinking like, I forgot to turn in this assignment, because that's one of the worst things that can happen, is like that it was something that maybe you had completed and it just completely went over your head and you just forgot to turn it in. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!